other two panelists some very interesting perspectives here. Jitin says that virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and metaverse are the future. They're going to throw up all sorts of dark dimensions and ugly realities for us to confront, but there is no escaping it. Stuti has referred to the Poonam Pandey episode, and I was wondering if you have a take on it. For 2 days running, this woman was trending on social media, the talk, big talk in social media circles, drawing room conversations everywhere. And with the big reveal that she made on day 2, there was a lot of anger and outrage, and I must confess that I was one of those who felt very deeply offended by what I saw and what many people saw as a trivialization of an issue as serious as cervical cancer. While Poonam Pandey and her PR agency claimed that the purpose was to create awareness about cervical cancer, many believe this was done for publicity and self-promotion. It was nothing more than a cheap gimmick that may have caused a lot of hurt to families of cancer victims.
People suffering from cancer.
I wonder what your take on that is. Was Poonam Pandey just leveraging social media the way many others do today, or was it abuse of social media?
Yes, thank you for your question. So basically, I was horrified by the news that a lady passed away from cervical cancer, and her name is Poonam Pandey. Well, I'm aware of her, but I would say, acquainted by her name. I don't really watch any of her content. But the point is that it's outrageous for a lot of people. It is, some people say, wow, it was a great way of campaigning and speaking about cervical cancer. But I feel like I mentioned before, the multifaceted impact of social media has, for me, the 3 things: the social connectivity, sharing information, and business opportunities, right? When you're sharing such sensitive information, especially when it's related to someone's death, murder, rape, scenarios which you as a normal person do not want to imagine, do not want to think, do not want to feel, because at the end of the day, we still are sympathetic. No matter who dies, we're sympathetic for a dog dying, we're sympathetic for somebody we've heard of. When we see on social media that someone's passed away, you feel something because you're human, right? You feel that sense of emotion that, oh my God, so sad for this person, right? But when that was completely backfired, this was a political, this was society, social movement made to create awareness about such a critical, emotional, overwhelming issue, cancer. We all dread the word C, right? And now you've made the most, I think it's for me as a woman, I am so particular with my routine checkups to make sure nothing happens, because we're always, and I'll tell you why. Because we live in a world where the moment we Google what's going to happen to us, we're going to die. Or we're extremely sick, or we're extremely in trouble. Because what we read is what we're consuming is what subconsciously our mind is aiding as well. So that's why they say the brain is not the first thing that perceives information. It's your eyes, because what you see is what you're consuming, is what in the end your subconscious and conscious mind is reacting to. So when I heard about Poonam Pandey, I felt really bad. I was like, what thing? And I told all my friends, there's this girl, she passed away. Oh my God, I feel so bad, guys. Now that we have cervical cancer injections in India, please make sure your daughters, your cousins, your sisters all get the 3 doses that are important. And then I find out that this was a gimmick. No matter how important and how critical this issue is, you do not joke with being dead. You do not joke about death. You do not joke about cancer. You do not joke about something that people have already suffered from, their families are still suffering from, or they could be in a position where death is sensitive, right?
It must have been triggering for so many people.
Yes. So I feel that this is not a business opportunity for a wider audience. You're not marketing a product. You're not engaging with customers. You're not revolutionizing advertising and e-commerce here, right? This is health, wellness, the human emotion that's connected to life. We all that are connected, our body is
So,
our ego,
Alankrita, this takes us
right?
back to the point that Stuti was making. While we go on and on about, how our safety often gets compromised on the social media, what about the fact that with power comes responsibility? If you
Yeah, so I
have the
was, yeah,
power of social media at your disposal, especially as a celebrity or
absolutely.
a known face, you've got to exercise that power with responsibility. Now, I do not
Absolutely.
think for a
So,
moment that Poonam Pandey is a role model for young people, but my point is, whatever your role or position in the social hierarchy, I don't care about that, but exercise the powers at your disposal with responsibility. We all have got
so
to do that.
absolutely. So to that, I would like to add, because I was thinking about the wonderful speakers who are a part of our panel. That whether you're today, people even, to be very honest, I am an actor. I'm an artist. There are people more famous than me getting more views, more likes because of the kind of content that's generated today. It's because people are consuming it like it's Pac-Man eating up its little chips, right? And the kind of information that's being given out, people like it. It's like if I put out something which is heartfelt, I put up a TED talk about, empowering myself and the people around me, or engaging in something more socially uplifting. I probably might not get that many views, but the kind of, that's what I said. The audience is also responsible for what it wants to consume and what it wants to see, and how they can moderate that. So coming back to how we can create a safer environment for women, men, LGBTQ, our fathers, our parents, the younger generation, is first of all enhance content moderation, like implementing more like robust content moderation strategies to like swiftly identify and remove harmful content, including hate speeches, bullying, and misinformation, like privacy protection, for example. Providing users with more like a granular control over their privacy settings, and ensuring like transparent data, because the usage policies is always there to safeguard your information, right? And mental health, especially introducing
Right.
like features to promote positive engagement, mental well-being, such as like time management tools, mental health resources, prompts for like a mental health online behavioral class, or meeting somebody online, like
Right.
fact checking and information verification. Because I feel like strengthening efforts to combat misinformation by partnering with like maybe fact checking organizations which are there in the world today, and improving algorithms to prioritize credible resources, because today everybody is on Instagram, they're bots or they are like fake accounts. Everybody's buying a tick mark to feel validated.
Yeah.
People who are not even verified on Instagram are trolling you and abusing you and saying
Yeah.
horrible things to the men and women out there.
The
Community
cover
guideline
of anonymity
enforcements,
that these people have also is a big problem. The fact that they think
because
that
it,
they can go after you, say what they like, without any consequences, because social media
and
gives
I
them
feel like
that
the
cover of
community,
anonymity.
absolutely, because the
Yes.
community guidelines is not enforced.
Yeah.
Because enforcing community guidelines consistently and transparently while
Right.
providing clear mechanisms for reporting and addressing violations is so important. If
Yes.
I see some content where I'm tagged, to be very honest, they're horrible things they keep tagging women in.
Right.
I'm telling you, this is a violation of my privacy and me being a woman. I
Yes.
would not like to see this content. I don't want people in like young girls are being tagged in like
Yeah.
weird sex videos, to be very honest. There are
Absolutely.
young boys talking about suicide if they don't get
And
something,
sexual
and
predation is another major
yes,
factor for young
absolutely,
people, for young boys
absolutely,
and girls
absolutely.
on Instagram
And
and other such
I have
platforms.
been
And right, and
absolutely.
the perils of trolling and hate and misinformation apart, I think with Poonam Pandey faking her own death, the joke was on all of us, and therefore there is also a lesson in there for all of us. Do not believe everything that you see or
You
read on the
see,
social
yeah,
media. Apply your mind. We still have a functioning brain. Don't leave it behind.
exactly.
I'm
And I
completely
always
out
like,
of
I mean,
time. Okay,
because,
very
sorry,
quickly,
yeah.
Alankrit, I'm completely out of time.
Yeah, I only think that, as he mentioned about AI, because AI is being created by us. This is our brain, our mastermind, our everything is right here.
Right.
And if we socially engage with whatever we are seeing, whatever we are
Yes.
collaborating with, we can, there's what I would want these portals to do, and
Yes.
is collaborate with experts, researchers, stakeholders to like continuously assess and improve platform
Right.
safety to
And you
stay
know
ahead
what
of
they
the
say?
emerging online risks.
Right, and you know what that
Because
joke is, and Jiten might agree that it's great that artificial intelligence is going to play a great role in our lives, but what do you do about natural stupidity? But on that note,
Yeah,
I'm
just 10 seconds.
completely out of time.
Just
Okay,
10
Jiten,
seconds.
one sentence.
Just 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You're talking about a company which in a span of 20 years has wielded so much of power today
Huh.
that it can decide today that a sitting US president with a mandate to handle nuclear weapons will be deplatformed from a social media network,
Yeah.
and a terrorist organization which carry out suicide bombings and mass assassination on a football field will be given blue ticks on Facebook. So that's the power they yield today, and that power must be checked with full accountability and responsibility.